Welcome, and we're going to take a look at the second part of the phrase that I just mentioned in the last module. And if you remember, the phrase is, when you listen, you learn. And I want to unpack this word learn. Because in the well-living workplace, this place of work where you live and work well together, learning is an important element of being able to make great decisions. So if you understand how to maximize your learning, then you're able to leverage so much more because you're able to take things in, this notion of listening, sorting out the news from the noise that I mentioned in the last video. The other thing to know about learning is it's about gaining an understanding. And it's to be able to take in the input that's being given to you, like through your listening, being able to use the framework that we talked about at the beginning, this idea of being able to use all the tools that you have to pull in and sort out the news from the noise that I mentioned about under the listening module. So gaining understanding is what's going to help you to make great decisions. So the more you understand about how to maximize your learning, the more that you're able to leverage those insights to be able to get to where you need to go. So I would encourage you to look up more about learning, and you can certainly get in contact with me around this topic because it's one that I always enjoy sharing ideas with people about. It's sort of in my blood, so to speak. The other aspect about learning I want to share with you is that the quality of your questions indicates the quality of your life or the quality of your well-living workplace. Because when you ask questions, what you're doing is you're saying, okay, I need an answer, I need to gain an understanding. But when you learn how to use great questions, then the answers that you get are more concise. They give you more clarity. You're able to get some consistency going. So don't ever give up on the idea that questions are just a question. No, great questions also indicates a great workplace, a great life. So spend some time thinking about the kind of questions that you want to ask. The other thing that I would share with you is if you take the word reactive and write it down on a piece of paper. So just write down the word reactive. You got that? Okay. Now, what I want you to do is think of it this way. Look at the word reactive and take the letter C and move it to the front of the word. Yes, it's called creative. So this idea of reactive and creative, it depends how you see it. I like to play with words, so let me help you unpack this one a little bit. So when you are being reactive, you see it while you're in it. That's how you're learning. You're in it and you're seeing it happening. It's also about setting things up to be prepared, to be able to see things before they actually might happen. Also to be able to have a prevention mindset to take it to a point where you don't get muddled up or you don't end up crashing with what it is that you're doing in your workplace. So if you're looking at a reactive way of doing things or looking at a creative way of doing things, then just understand the difference that they offer to you as you're doing your learning. Now, the last little piece that I would give to you, and this is something that's really important and it's really deep into who you are, is that we have learned over time to do what's called problem inquiry. What's the problem? What's the concern? Let's find the solution. And yes, that's important, and don't give that up, that inquiry. But I believe that there's an element of balancing it from a learning perspective about creating the well-living workplace is to do what's called appreciative inquiry. It's to appreciate what's going on. Where are there places that you have joy and ways in which to expand it? So when you're doing your learning, use problem inquiry and appreciative inquiry. That's really important. So with those are just some tips for you under this area of when you listen, you learn. And so when we move into the next module, I'll be working with the phrase, when you share, you educate. And I'll be talking a little bit more about share, which links back even to the story sharing module that you looked at before.